Why the dark web always fails. Dark web market has ever survived long enough to win. Not because the technology failed, not because encryption was broken, not because anonymity stopped working, but because people always do. This has happened before, and it will happen again. Every time. At first, the dark web feels different. It promises something the real world cannot. No rules, no names, no borders. A place where identity disappears and control feels absolute. People don't come for crime. They come for freedom, or what they believe freedom looks like. The technology reinforces the illusion. Tor hides locations. Cryptocurrency removes banks. Encryption removes trust. Everything feels cleaner, safer, smarter. A system built to remove humans from the equation. But humans are never removed. They're only delayed. Every dark web market begins the same way. Small, careful, paranoid. Administrators check everything twice. They follow every rule. They fear every mistake. Security is discipline, and discipline works. For a while, growth changes everything. More users, more money, more attention. What once felt fragile starts to feel permanent, and permanence breeds confidence. Confidence becomes routine. Routine becomes habit, and habits create patterns. This is the first crack, not technical, behavioral. People start doing things the same way every day. Logging in at similar times, using familiar setups, trusting muscle memory. Nothing illegal, nothing obvious, just repetition. Technology does not punish repetition, but reality notices it. Patterns emerge where randomness was expected. Timing aligns, behavior stabilizes, noise turns into signal, and systems begin to speak. Every major dark web market follows the same curve. Rapid growth, centralization of power, internal trust. Administrators stop seeing themselves as temporary. They stop acting like fugitives. They start acting like managers. Management requires structure. Structure requires communication. Communication requires coordination. And coordination creates traces. Not because people are careless, but because they are human. The second illusion is control. Admins believe they understand the system completely. They built it. They maintain it. They survived long enough to trust it. But systems grow faster than understanding. Complexity increases. Dependencies multiply. No one understands everything anymore. This is where mistakes change form. Not a single error, but a series of small compromises. Shortcuts, exceptions. Just this once. Because nothing bad happened last time. Security is not a setting, it's a behavior, and behaviors decay. The dark web does not fail when something goes wrong. It fails when nothing goes wrong for too long. Because success removes fear, and fear is the only thing holding discipline together. Then comes the illusion of anonymity, the belief that tools replace responsibility, that Tor guarantees invisibility, that crypto guarantees untraceability, that encryption guarantees safety. None of these guarantee anything. They only raise the cost of observation. Observation is patient. It doesn't rush. It doesn't attack. It waits for the system to relax. Law enforcement does not break markets. Markets break themselves by leaking behavior, by repeating patterns, by trusting time. When a market collapses, it never looks dramatic. There is no announcement, no warning, no explanation, just silence. Users refresh pages that don't load. Balances freeze. Support disappears. Confusion spreads faster than information. This is the moment people misunderstand the most. They think the market was attacked. It wasn't. It was exposed. After collapse comes the vacuum. New markets appear almost immediately. Clones, rebrands, improved versions. They promise stronger security, better encryption, lessons learned. But the same people show up, with the same habits. Technology changes. Behavior does not. Administrators move from one market to the next. Vendors migrate. Users follow. And the cycle resets. Small, careful, paranoid. Again. But memory lingers. Confidence returns faster. Shortcuts happen sooner. Mistakes repeat quicker. This is why dark web markets always fail faster than the last. Not because authorities improve, but because patience declines. The longer people operate without consequences, the more they believe consequences no longer apply. This belief is fatal. No system collapses because it is weak. It collapses because it is trusted too much. Anonymity does not remove accountability. It only delays it. And delay creates arrogance. The most dangerous moment for any dark web market is not launch. It's success. Success convinces people they've beaten reality. They never have. Even when markets survive for years, they end the same way. Not with arrests, not with headlines, but with absence. Silence is the final state of every underground system. No explanation, no closure. Just empty space where confidence once lived. People often ask why no dark web market ever truly wins. The answer is simple. Winning would require perfection. And perfection requires something humans cannot maintain. Discipline without relief. The dark web is not defeated by technology. It is defeated by time. Time exposes behavior. Behavior exposes identity. And identity ends the illusion. This is not a story about crime. It's a story about systems built to remove consequences, and why they never succeed. Every dark web market is a mirror, not of technology, but of people. And people always fail the same way. Slowly, quietly, predictably. The dark web doesn't collapse from force. It collapses from familiarity. And familiarity always wins. The system didn't fail. The people did. Pausa 2-3 secunda. If this market disappeared today, another would replace it tomorrow. With the same promises, the same mistakes, and the same ending. Because no matter how deep the network, how strong the encryption, or how careful the design, human behavior remains unchanged. And that is why the dark web always fails. Tisha, there is one detail most people miss. Dark web markets don't just fail individually, they fail collectively. Each collapse teaches everyone the wrong lesson. After every shutdown, forums fill with analysis. People don't ask why the system failed. They ask what tool failed. Was it Tor? Was it Bitcoin? Was it a server? Was it hosting? They look for technical answers. Because technical answers are comforting. They imply the next version can be fixed. But the real failure is never technical. It's psychological. Every new market believes it is smarter than the last. Not because the code is better, but because the people believe they are. This belief is the real vulnerability. Operators convince themselves they learned from history. They read postmortems. They rewrite rules. They add layers. But they don't change behavior. And behavior is the only thing that matters. Security systems don't collapse suddenly. They erode. One exception becomes two. Two becomes routine. Routine becomes identity. At that point, the system is already dead. It just doesn't know it yet. The dark web creates a unique form of confidence. Not loud confidence, quiet confidence. The kind that whispers, nothing has happened yet. That whisper is always wrong. Time is the most powerful adversary any hidden system faces. Not because time reveals secrets, but because time removes fear. And fear is what keeps people careful. After months without consequences, vigilance fades. After years, it disappears. People stop asking if something will go wrong. They start assuming it won't. That assumption shapes decisions. Logins become predictable. Environments stabilize. Habits harden. The system becomes legible. Legibility is death for anonymity. Many believe decentralization solves this. They're wrong. Decentralized systems still depend on centralized behavior. People still coordinate. People still trust. People still repeat. Anonymity tools don't eliminate identity. They fragment it, and fragments can be reassembled. This is why no amount of encryption guarantees safety. Encryption hides content. It does not hide behavior. Behavior is the real fingerprint. Timing, language, choices. None of these are encrypted. The longer someone operates, the clearer their pattern becomes. Not clearer to one observer, clearer to many. And observation compounds. This is why patience always wins. Not because it is aggressive, but because it is relentless. Dark web markets are not hunted, they are waited out. Every system designed to avoid accountability eventually collapses into it. Not dramatically, inevitably. The greatest irony of the dark web is this: it attracts people who believe they are invisible. And invisibility is the fastest way to stop being careful. People often ask if the dark web could ever succeed. The answer depends on what success means. If success means operating temporarily, yes. If success means lasting, no. Longevity requires humility, and anonymity breeds arrogance. The dark web doesn't fail because it lacks innovation. It fails because innovation cannot outpace human nature. Human nature seeks efficiency. Efficiency creates shortcuts. Shortcuts create patterns. Patterns destroy secrecy. This cycle is not unique to crime. It exists everywhere systems attempt to remove consequences. Finance, politics, technology. The dark web is just the purest version. It strips the illusion down to its core. That rules can be escaped. They cannot. They can only be delayed. Every dark web market is a countdown. The moment it launches, time starts working against it. Not visibly, but inevitably. And the most dangerous moment is always the same. When operators stop feeling hunted. When the fear is gone. When the system feels normal. Normal is fatal. This is why the dark web always fails. Not because it is weak, but because it forgets what it was built to fear. And fear is the only thing that ever kept it alive. Dovga pauza. You can shut down a website. You can seize servers. But you don't need to do either. Time will do it for you. Because no matter how hidden the network, no matter how strong the encryption, no matter how careful the design, people remain predictable. And predictability is the end of anonymity. Teodor.